Mr. Elvis, maybe we can switch about topic about what state Europe right now is regarding the Ukraine. So, for example, Germany is kind of really tough topic, and again, my thinking goes towards critical thinking, actually, right? Because conformity is one topic what you mentioned. What is happening with society, for example, in Europe, in Western Europe especially? Because England is more kind of radical, so to speak, right? Kind of more straightforward. United States, without a question. But what happens with the old, so to speak, old Europe, Western Europe?
Well, I think there are many factors. There's no single one. Certainly, there is this. Well, I mean, Germany itself has always had an odd relationship with Russia, which is that it's kind of like, well, we have what I call the Zwischenländer, the countries in between, that are always a problem, right? They were a problem for in World War I. They were a problem in World War II. I mean, we're big, we're Germany, they're big, they're Russia. Why do we have to deal with all these little things here, right? Us, namely. So we're always a pain in the ass, and this came up with coal as well. I mean, I was yelled at in 1990 by someone from the Bundesnachrichtendienst, or the German Foreign Intelligence, when I was working at Radio Free Europe, to stop this stupid independence thing you Estonians are doing. And I go, okay. And clearly, Kohl was not interested in our independence, or
Chancellor of Germany at that time, right?
Yeah. Kohl. Yeah. Clearly, Gerhard Schröder didn't care at all, because I mean, all he wanted was his pipeline. I mean, and one of these silly people in between. Germany to this day is, I mean, it really. I mean, look at what they're doing. They say, you know, niemals wieder, never again. Except when it's someone else. I mean, you know, when it's like, niemals wieder is fine if we're talking about Germany, but if it comes to allowing Russia to destroy the post-World War II order that you cannot change borders through invading countries, but it's someone else. So let's give the Russians what they want. Let's not have the Ukrainians win, because that would be bad for us. Even though, I mean, let's not accept that the Ukrainians should get their territory, all of it, back. I mean, that you saw that with Macron as well. And we cannot humiliate Putin. Well, humiliation of Putin is getting the territory back that has been invaded. And they say this without really thinking about the fact that the fundamental decision after World War II was that it is illegal to change borders through force. But they forget that. They forget that their borders were changed by force. But
this is unique, right, Mr. Ilves? This is so unthinkable. So how the head of state can forget about something like that? This is something so
national interest. You want to get energy, you want to get gas, or whatever. I mean, it's
motivation,
principles. Right? Yeah. If you're not, I mean, if you don't think about those things, then principles become irrelevant. I mean, this is, and we, of course, in this part of the world, that's what we have to rely on, principles. I mean, you know, the reason why we got to this was because of what Germany did with Czechoslovakia, right, in 1938, and what Germany did invading Poland and the rest of us later on, and what Russia did. But people say, well, that was 80 years ago. That was so long ago. Well, I mean, the principle, to my mind, remains. You cannot change borders through force. But if cheap gas is important to you, go, well, maybe we can change a little bit. You know?
Conformity again, by the way, right?
No, that's just crude self-interest, I think. Crude self-interest. I mean, principles matter as long as they affect you. But if it affects others, then you go, well, they're just Ukrainians,
It's kind of homeostasis for your own safety and comfort in a sense. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think there is, in the case of Western Europe, a kind of arrogance and a sense of superiority toward East Europe. There are those kind of poor, lesser people. I mean, we've had lots of problems with Finland in this regard. I mean, it hasn't really hit the Latvian press, but for years and years, the Finns kept saying things that would be completely unacceptable in sort of normal discourse, kind of like and when Estonia supported Georgia in a big way in 2008, the Finnish president said, oh, and then she was asked, why doesn't Finland support them? We go, oh, those Estonians, they're suffering from post-Soviet traumatic stress.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if I ever said as president, oh, that entire people has a psychological problem, I mean, that would be a huge scandal. Well, no, and the prime minister of Finland said, Estonia, that's not even a real country. I mean, these are things that were said, right? I mean, about us. So, I mean, you can find examples for every country in Eastern Europe. When my bicycle was stolen in Munich in 1991, which was after Poland had become free again, and I told the Hausmeister in the apartment house that my apartment had been stolen, and she said to me, "Heute gestohlen, morgen in Poland," which is stolen today, tomorrow in Poland.
Mm.
I mean, that kind of attitude toward East Europeans still remains there, and I sometimes see it. I mean, I still see it, kind of like, who are these East Europeans, which is why it is very much in our interest to be as good and as wealthy and as successful as possible. Because you will be taken seriously if you're successful, and you're not taken seriously if you're not successful.